Hello again, it's Thuan. Welcome everyone to this latest podcast episode. It's been quite a while since I last released a podcast. By the time this episode goes live, it will probably have been about 2 months, and I feel a little shy about that. Yes, I've been quite busy. I moved to Dalat to live, so I've been settling into my new place. Also, my course just started. If you're wondering why I always seem to be talking about a new course starting whenever I do a podcast, it's because we have a course every 3 months, and each course lasts about a month and a half. That leaves a month-long break in between, which is when I don't record podcasts. So whenever I record, you'll hear me say I'm either in a course or a new one is starting. That's the reason. This podcast episode was supposed to be about a different topic, but tonight is my first night in my new room in Dalat. I don't know, but I'm feeling so many emotions, a bit of loneliness, a bit of excitement, just a lot of mixed feelings inside me. So I thought, oh no, I can't sleep. I have to tell this story to my online friends. I have to reach out to my closest friends. So, for today's episode, I actually don't know what I'm going to talk about. This episode has no script at all, it's just that I felt like talking, so I'm talking. Actually, since late August, I had already gone to Dalat to look for a place. I wanted a room with a balcony so I could grow vegetables and flowers. And I also wanted a house with a kitchen because I love cooking and I'm pretty good at it. So finding such a satisfactory place at a reasonable price wasn't easy. After that, I took my sibling to Saigon for their university enrollment, then went to Hanoi to see a friend off who was studying abroad. So I finished up my errands in the north and thought, well, since I'm about to settle down in one place, I might as well take the opportunity to travel to Khao Bang while I'm up north. So I spent nearly half a month in Khao Bang, going back and forth, then visited my family. It's only now that I've returned to Dalat to look for a house. I searched and searched, but couldn't find any place that I really liked. Honestly, it's partly because I'm poor, everyone. My budget is low, but my requirements are too many. So I searched forever and couldn't find a suitable place. Throughout the time I was house hunting, I stayed at my friend's Nam Mo homestay. My friend told me, just take your time, go find a place, keep staying at Nam Mo, no need to be shy. Your home is about your quality of life, so take your time to find one that truly suits you. I ended up staying at Nam Mo for over a month to find the room I liked so much. At the branch I stayed in, my friend also lived there, and there were other older residents who stayed for months, long-term. So every time I went somewhere and then returned to Dalat, staying at that homestay felt like truly coming home. My friends were there, and those older residents too. We met in such a fateful way. We all came to stay at this homestay and got to know each other, and we really clicked. Sometimes I find human connections strange. Why do people with age differences, not living in the same city, not going to the same university, having nothing in common, all end up staying at that homestay, meeting each other, and getting along so well? I visit Dalat a few times a year, and usually Dalat is the final stop on my long journeys through many places. By then, both my mind and body are quite tired, quite exhausted. So whenever I arrive at the homestay, I feel incredibly touched when everyone arranges the room I usually stay in for me. Then the older residents cook delicious meals for me. I truly feel like it's my second home, and everyone's energy there is so wholesome. The older residents' main jobs are in Saigon, but now they work online or remotely, so they moved to Dalat. They're all older than me and have more life experiences. Some of them have gone through major life events and significant losses. So they don't live competitively anymore, but in a way that truly understands their own lives and knows what they need to nurture. Their energy is very gentle and kind. So, every time I return to the homestay, I always feel like it's my energy charging station. The word home is a very intimate word. Home isn't just a physical location built with concrete and steel. Home is where there are people you love, people you feel safe with. For me, that's a place I call home. Of course, nowhere beats the home where my parents are. But honestly, when I think about arriving in a city and having a second home where I can feel loved, embraced, shared with, and empathized with, I feel incredibly happy. Although my days living at Nam Mo were very enjoyable, I still decided to move out and live on my own. Now, I've found a room I'm satisfied with. It's in a central location, convenient for getting around. It has a sunny balcony where I can grow flowers and plants. It has a cute kitchen where I can cook. Every now and then, I'll invite my friends over for a meal. Basically, I have everything I wished for in a room in Dalat. Tonight is my first night in this room. How should I say it? I've left home to live in other cities many times, but I don't think I'll ever forget the feeling when I move all my belongings from home to a new city, into a new room, decorating it from scratch. And that first night in the room, I lie awake alone, struggling to sleep. I miss my loved ones, and I don't think I'll ever get used to that feeling. Well, that's how I'm feeling now. This past year, I traveled to many places, but after each trip, I would return home to stay with my mom for a few weeks, then travel again, so I left all my belongings at home. I felt like I was just on vacation, and eventually I'd always come home. But now it's different. Now I've moved all my belongings to Dalat just like when I moved to Hanoi for university. That's the feeling. Yes, now I'm leaving home again. I don't know what else to say. But yes, I feel quite sad. I think the hardest thing for children is always how to pursue the life they want, pursue their goals, but still have a lot of time with their parents. To be able to accompany their parents as much as possible, I think that's the difficult part for children. The reason I left Hanoi to come live here is also because of that. Hanoi is too far from my home, and Saigon is a bit too fast-paced for me. I'm a rather slow person. So, among the cities close to my home, Dalat is the nearest. That's why I chose to live here. Earlier in the podcast, I mentioned to everyone the reason why after a whole year, I decided not to wander anymore, not to live in a different place every month, but to settle in Dalat. The first reason, as I said, is that Dalat is close to my home. The second reason is that when I took a gap year before university, I also lived in Dalat for a while, and I feel like whenever I start a new journey, Dalat is a place that seems destined to help me nurture the necessary things to achieve that goal. If you remember my 2024 podcast, I told everyone that I felt very lost when I didn't have a next goal. Well, now I've found my next goal. I'll tell you all when it comes true. If it doesn't come true, then I won't say anything. I don't dare to talk about it yet. I don't dare to say it out loud because it's a super huge, colossal goal for me. Deep down, I think I'll probably achieve it, because I'm the type of person who, once I want something, I'll go all out to make it happen. But I'm also afraid that if it doesn't come true and I've already talked about it, I'll feel quite embarrassed, a bit awkward. So if it happens, I'll tell you all later. In the 2024 podcast, I already told you all that when I graduated from university, when I was no longer a student, I was very afraid of life after university because I didn't know how to answer if someone asked me, "Who are you?" Actually, my job at the time was stable, but it wasn't enough to make me happy. I didn't know how I would find something that suited me. And at that time, I was very scared when I thought about the future. Because I didn't know if I would ever amount to anything. I didn't know what kind of person I would become. I didn't have a clear direction or anything concrete for my life. Everything was like walking under the moonlight. It wasn't walking in pitch-black darkness with no light, but it also wasn't clear. It was just vague and hazy. At that time, I really admired the older people who had established careers, who knew what they needed to do, and who tried their best to pursue those goals. I admired them greatly because, at that time, I wasn't clear about what my path ahead would be. I only vaguely knew what I was good at. Everything was just vague. This past year, I just packed my backpack and went. I traveled from one place to another. I experienced one thing after another with the sole purpose of understanding myself better and finding out what I wanted. I think the period during university and a few years after graduation is when most people feel very lost. Because when we were young, we always had a development path. Finish first grade, move to second grade, finish middle school, go to high school, and so on. Everything was clear, you just had to try to study well and be good. But when we grew up, things were no longer clear. And that's when we clearly see the differences in ourselves. Someone feeling lost compared to those who already have direction or were guided by their families, they will go far, while I just stood still. That's when I fell into life's crises, into existential questions like, who am I? What is the meaning of this life? What is my mission on Earth? And so on. I was the same. During that period, I felt very lost. We were raised in a time when the media around us, films, newspapers, songs, always told us that a person should live with some meaning in life. For example, the superhero movies we watch are about saving the world. Articles and books talk about someone pursuing their dreams and eventually succeeding. These things gradually imprinted themselves on our generation and made us think that every person is born with a mission, and our job is to find that mission. Okay. If you're someone who found that great mission, that world-changing mission, then yes, you're truly amazing and I'm happy for you. But not everyone can find such a grand meaning in life. And if we cling to the idea of constantly searching for the question, what is the meaning of my life? We will fall into crises, into whirlpools that cause us suffering. We will doubt ourselves. And that's when I felt life around me was empty. I even doubted the existence of things around me. Whatever I did, I saw no value. Whatever I did, I felt, this isn't valuable, it's not big enough. I read a very beautiful passage in the book I had planned to dye this winter. But in January, someone gave me a gray striped kimono as a New Year's gift. A kimono suitable for summer, so I decided to live until summer first. Sometimes, we don't need something grand to keep living. We don't need some grand meaning in life. We just need small joys to keep living. For example, if I'm still alive, I get to eat my mother's delicious meals. If I'm still alive, I can go buy a beautiful bouquet of flowers and arrange it in the kitchen. If I'm still alive, I can still watch the sunset on the grassy hill. If you find a grand meaning in life, that's great. But if not, just keep living so that at the end of the day, we can still watch the sunset. In the past year, as I traveled through many places and made many new friends, and reconnected with old friends, one thing that made me incredibly happy was seeing my friends gradually live better lives. More than anyone, I understand what they've been through. I know their journey hasn't been easy. So, when I see them able to progress step by step, I genuinely feel so happy and so proud. And I also feel very grateful to have people in my life whose mere presence is enough to make me happy. They don't need to do anything grand for me. They just need to be themselves and pursue what they desire, and that's more than enough. And because they are always themselves, they also inspire me to be myself. So, I am very grateful for such presences in my life. This past year, I also made new friends. They are people who live with great passion. Outwardly, some are introverted, some extroverted, some quiet, some lively. But the common thread is that everyone is working hard to live. And honestly, there are people in my life whom I only wish success upon. Because when I see their eyes light up when they talk about what they want to do, when they talk about their passions and aspirations, I admire them immensely. And I also know how hard they've tried to achieve those things. So, deep down, I've made a promise that, to the best of my ability, I will try my hardest to help them, to protect this beautiful thing, the beauty of these dreams. And it's also thanks to people like them that I feel that when I live with a goal to pursue, that is an absolutely wonderful thing. Going back to what I said earlier, those goals don't necessarily have to be grand. The thing that always made me fall into crises was always thinking that my goals had to be monumental, always big, 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 like in movies and books. But sometimes, it doesn't need to be that way. I think what I need to avoid feeling lost is to know where I am, to know what I want to do next. And with each step I take, I need to see its value. That value doesn't necessarily mean I always have to succeed to see it. Sometimes, it can be about what I've learned, how I've improved by doing these things, and what I haven't done well. It doesn't matter if the outcome is success or something else, but that's how I assess how I've progressed when doing these things. What mistakes I've made, what I can do better. That reminds me of something someone once told me. Actually, finding out who you are or finding the meaning of life is essential to the asterisk act of searching. That is, you have to go first, then you'll find it. You have to do this and that first, then you'll find out what the core thing you want is. I'm no longer setting myself a huge question, the biggest problem of life. What is the meaning of my life? Instead, I'll just take small steps. And these things can be very small. And within each tiny thing, I'll look for what value I can see. Sometimes I also think, oh my goodness, if everyone in this world were like me, everyone thought, oh, let the great people do the big things, I'll just live my own life well. Then this world would probably stand still with no new inventions. But then I think, everyone just do your own job well. When you've taken care of your life and everything is good, then you'll have the space to do other things well, even greater things, right? Oh, I don't know anymore. I won't think about life anymore. Life is life's business, and I'll just live my own life. I don't know anything. So that's it. When I recorded this episode, I didn't know what I was going to talk about at all, so I haven't thought of a title yet. Well, I'll figure out a suitable title when I edit it. Actually, listening to it, you might notice that today's episode is full of life lessons. That's because, fundamentally, what I want to do now, I can't tell you all about it. Because if I told you, as I said earlier, if it doesn't come true, I'll be so embarrassed. so I can't tell you guys. So please bear with a few life lessons in today's episode. Thank you all for listening this far. Goodbye and see you again. See you.